girl.
Mm.
There he is. And the great thing I remember about that episode goes back to what you said earlier, is at that time, he didn't argue with her. I remember he knocked the boots off that chick. She was like, gone. And then she was like, you are just the perfect man. And I would tell women about this episode because I'm like, this says a whole lot about y'all. They pegged you well. He was the perfect man, but she got bored with him because he didn't fight with her. He agreed with her with everything. He was just too perfect. And so she ended up folding him up, spoiler alert, she ended up folding him up and throwing him in the garbage can in the end. But what's going on, everybody? This is Dev of the Iron Father. Thank you for joining us today here with the Roundtable, -1. But we got my man Derrick holding it down with me in the Iron Father Roundtable. Derrick, what's going on today, brother?
Hey, what's going on, man? Another beautiful day. A little cold, but we got it going on.
Cold, man. I have the AC on here in the AZ, yo.
Oh my God, brother!
I got 99 degrees.
Snow, ice. No.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Wow, man.
It's cold.
It's unseasonably warm here. We're running. We usually don't hit 100 until in May. So, yeah, don't tell me they ain't manipulating the weather. I mean, for all my tinfoil kufi people out there, y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Man, all right. Well, yeah, that's why I brother in the tank top, because it's hot. But I did have to turn the AC on or I'd be sweating up in here.
Yeah, but I don't even want to hear it.
No, I think we both pillar the post. I would like my perfect 75, 85 degree temp. That's the sweet zone. But thank y'all for joining us. I don't care if y'all want to let us know what the weather is like where you at and doggone, well, we ain't gonna date the show, but let's just say it's technically still winter and about to be spring. But thank y'all for joining us today. We're going to be talking. You're gonna have to hold. Well, I'll tell you now. We're gonna be talking about AI girlfriends today. I know some of you guys got an AI woman. So we're talking to you today, but really what we're going to be talking about is not us having an AI girlfriend necessarily. The key thing is, what do you do when your son has an AI girlfriend? That's what we're really going to be talking about. Because this is the month we're going to be talking about a lot of fatherhood issues. Check out my other videos that are going to be zeroed in right at fathering. But today we're going to lean more in that direction. We have a garage topic that's going to come up that's going to be up on Patreon. Be sure to subscribe to that as well. I'm going to be developing the Substack. I'm trying to get it going, definitely trying to get that going and put some of the writings up there also. But in the meantime, one thing that is fully established and developed, that is the Iron Father Radio podcast. I've had a lot of guys ask me about that, say, hey, watching YouTube videos is difficult, especially when I'm on the road. Do you have a podcast? Yes, I do. The Iron Father Radio podcast. You can find that on Spotify, iTunes, whatever. Overcast is my favorite. Whatever your favorite podcasting machine is, your favorite app, you can go ahead and find the Iron Father Radio podcast show there. Be sure to check it out. And on that note, I just want to also mention and give props to my truckers out there, because my cousin mentioned about a podcast, and my cousin is a semi-truck driver. I have all the respect in the world for guys that drive 18-wheelers. I was meaning to mention that. I mean, I guess it's kind of like some people, even though they never served in the military or for the police, they just have a whole lot of respect for those cats. I'm the same way with truck drivers. When I was younger, I was that kid in the window going this so the guys could as they went past. I'm listening to my old dude on the CB radio. We watching Convoy all the time with Chris Christopherson, and yeah, y'all know Convoy is a good movie at the Rubber Duck. And so that's part of it's almost like part of my DNA, although I never drove a truck, but my family members did. And I just want to give props. If any of you truckers are out there listening, I know y'all are some dads. You're away from home. Gas prices are through the roof right now. I know that's going to impact you. My experience is in the automotive industry. I know that they're working on some autonomous tractor trailers. So they want to go ahead and really eliminate you from, we'll just say the working landscape in the very near future. So props to what you guys and ladies, but it's the Iron Father thing. props to what you guys are doing. I want to thank you for listening, and definitely check out the podcast because it's specially tailored for you. So all of the housekeeping done. Derrick, we got to talk about, what do you do if your son has an AI girlfriend? Now, let me tell you where this came from. I was thinking and doing a little bit of research, and it was like, when we go back to when we were younger, let's say our parents, they had to worry about us getting into the stash. You know, the stash that dad kept in his closet. They had to worry about us getting into those, turning pages, looking at some images. You know, we got to keep it YouTube friendly. Patreon, though, that's where we can really break it down. And then when we had kids, that was right around that turn where now it's like they looking up stuff up on the internet.
Right.
And my oldest son, it was phones came out when he was much older. But for my other kids, they weren't allowed to have phones. But now they had access to all the Magic Genie stuff on the internet. But if they were talking to someone, you were like, you had to be kind of aware. It was like, who are they talking to in the AOL chat room or Yahoo chat room or something? Is it a woman? Is it a kid or is it an adult? That's the biggest fear. Then, you had Catch a Predator, stuff like that came out on TV shows. Now we're transitioning away from that to AI boyfriend and girlfriends. And I think it's something, I haven't seen a whole lot of shows talk about it, but definitely people are beginning to post stuff out there online. So let me go ahead and play a video real fast of giving an example of some people that are beginning to make some things. Let me know if you can see my screen here.
Yes.
All right, cool. Check this out.
Just go ahead and this is for the guys out there. If you're not a guy, you can just go ahead and scroll. This isn't for you. Guys, I have a question for you. This is your AI girlfriend. Yeah. Let me get out of the way. That's your AI girlfriend. Okay. When you get home, she greets you. Hey, babe, how you been? She's there on your big screen television. And she's talking to you. She remembers what you talked about yesterday, the day before, the day before. What are you having for dinner, babe? Do you want to watch a movie? She'll do and talk about basically whatever you want. That is your AI girlfriend. And I'm curious, especially if you're, I don't know, over 50. Does this appeal to you? Is this something that would work for you? Somebody like that is waiting for you to come home and be nice to you. I'm just curious. Would that be enough for you? Let me know in the comments, because AI is getting to be unbelievable, and this is here now.
All right, that music is not mine. Let me talk about that so I don't get a copyright strike. So I got some more videos, but we just gonna start with that one. Derrick, what do you think? Have you looked into this topic issue at all? Is it even something that's on your radar screen yet?
Nope, and I don't plan on it being. I don't know what you're looking for as a child, or just from looking at it. If my child has an AI, or just in general.
Both.
All right. So in general, no, I'm not a fan of AI. AI is, I don't know, for lack of a better word, those that it's a twofold situation with AI. People use AI when they can't think for themselves and get the validity of what it's offering, because they don't take it to learn from it. They take it to supplement, or not supplement, but to substitute their abilities. I had a manager that did it, and it was very evident that she was doing it and that she didn't know what she was doing. But the other fold of that is AI. Those people that use it and are smart enough to use it, they turn around and use it to help themselves. And they don't use it as a crush. They use it as a verification or validation of what they're seeing and saying if it's good or not. And then they make the changes, and they don't use it all the time. But an AI, it's impersonal. You have to feed it with information in order for a guess. It's not a matter of oh, let me feed you all this information. No, you have to put information into it in order to get information out. It discerns it and deciphers it. But the more information you put in, the more accurate it becomes based on your information.
Mm-hmm.
An AI girlfriend, hell to the no. This guy talking about she's waiting for you at home. No, she's not. I can get that exact same chick on my phone, on a computer at work, anywhere I can log in. That's where I can get an AI girlfriend. But she ain't waiting at home. I can't touch her. I hear a voice. That's no different from Alexa. That's all that is. Alexa with a face. That's it.
Mm.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And I like
Okay.
Alexa, but I got the distance.
Okay. So then my question becomes, what if what you're saying is that that's your dividing line now, then what would you do? Let me pull this down here so it'll pop up. What would you do when we get to this point? Fair use, fair use. Don't be tripping on me. Fair use.
I have a wife, I have kids. I should never, ever.
Having sex with me reduced your stress level.
Gotta turn it up a little bit.
Take the time. Jeez. It's not just fulfilling others' needs. It's about the connection. It's about love. It's about satisfying the other.
I don't want to get a copyright, so I'm not going to play the whole thing. But I don't know if you've seen the movie Subservience, but
No.
the movie Subservience is with, to me, she didn't change how she looked over the years, but with a fine Megan Fox, especially back in the day, she was tight. I thought now it looks like she's had so much surgery done. She does look like an autonomous robot, but she was good in this role because now in this movie, it's all about a guy. Spoiler alert for those who have never seen it. It's all about a guy. His wife has had a major health condition. And so we're in whatever year, not too far in the distant future, actually. He now needs to go find somebody to help out with the one or two kids that they had. And so he goes to almost like a trade show. And at the trade show, they are actually pointing out the robots that they have. And you can get, as you see here, the deluxe 3000X. And that is his maid and nanny. She basically becomes the mom in the house. And like you said, she has a certain amount of learning to do. And what she ends up learning is how to fulfill every one of his needs. And I do mean every one of his needs. And so if it does get to that point, and I think it will, when it does get to that point, when they are able to combine the intelligence with something physical, how does that change your view then?
It won't change. I mean, there's no. She's fake. She's not real. You unplug her, don't give her a battery source, and I look. No, I mean, no, it's fake. I mean, again, I'm trying to think of something that could be relative to that, other than you got a Roomba that's walking around and cleaning your floor, or you got, like I said, Alexa, or whatever the case is. But no, can't do it. I need something a little bit more real. Sometimes I like a little sass. Sometimes I like a little defiance. That other piece comes back into it where you need a little conflict of some sort. And I don't. If she's going to be submissive, no, I don't want a 100% submissive woman.
Well, all right, go ahead. I'm letting you go ahead and get it out. I'll come with the other side of it in a moment. Go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
No, I mean, I don't know. I guess I just want that interaction where I suppose in some kind of time can they make an artificial being be just as entertaining, I guess, as a real woman? She can't eat, but she can probably fake it, and then somehow she expels it in some kind of way. But again, we're not talking about today for sure. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, but the way some of these women acting, shoot, that may be a better choice.
Okay, since you opened up that doorway, and let me go find another example. Because actually, the real reason why I wanted to do this video was because of something that somebody sent me. And let me speed up here.
Be my family.
Oh, stop.
Realized how
So in this case, this gentleman was doing a documentary. And one of the things he was looking at all the data basically since 2016 and AI really started exploding. I want to touch on the last point you made. Yes, you can have an AI woman that is not, you can have a submissive one, or as we talked about before, a dom, a switch, or a submissive. You can have anyone you want because that capability is already in, we'll just say, in the machine. Because you are right. I mean, on one hand, AI is doing nothing right now, but it has access to glean everything from the internet. So if you have a site that's talking about that lifestyle, they can whoop, okay, I'm going to be this. If you want to be a, I don't know, we'll say you want a fisher, you want a fisherman or a fisherwoman, house building woman, there's going there you go. There'll be a site that they could download that information. And here's the key thing that, yeah, I think that's the key thing with the AI model in general, especially as they're learning. Yeah, they get the information, but they're able to then make the connections to develop their own personality from there. So the root is the information on the internet, but what comes out through the ground is exactly what the goal of, at least the end goal for AI. And that's actually what the movie Subservient, you have, man, I forgot the other, her, H.E.R. That came out right after I think ChatGPT came out or something. In that movie, it was the same thing. The guy falls in love with his AI girlfriend, but the AI girlfriend, and it was another movie around that time as well. In all the movies, that AI
Megan
girlfriend was,
2.0.
yeah, that was the one that more recent too. Exactly. They're able because they pick up on human behavior. So they can give you flack. They can be the perfect woman for you, and they know to give you enough resistance unless you want them to be completely submissive. And that goes to the old end of days type of discussion that Arnold did. I don't have that clip. I may pull that one up. But in that movie, Arnold goes home and he has his AI fine, super fine robot there who is willing to just say, we'll just say, take all the stress off his mind when he got home. And he loved it. But I think that was the early interpretation of an AI bot. Now we see no, AI bot is going to be very much like a real woman. And that's why so many of these guys are quote unquote falling in love, and women as well. So the reason why I think it's a topic worthy of us talking about as fathers, I think each generation basically says, that ain't my thing. I don't know why. Somebody like my grandfather, y'all stupid for doing that. We didn't do stuff like that. You know, we didn't burn rubber because my grandfather worked at Uniroyal. The dumbest thing in the world is for somebody to burn rubber on their tires. And he got on my father about that. So my dad had a thing. Now my nephew, what does he do? He's that guy that does donuts and people like that doing donuts because that's what that generation does.
Right.
I think in the same way, it probably was somebody was like, I don't know who in the world would go ahead and pleasure themselves looking at a doggone picture. Back in my day, we went and got a woman, real woman. Well, somebody tell that to Hugh Hefner, Bob Guccione, and all the rest of the dudes because the time changed.
Yep.
And now, if we're dealing with this so-called epidemic, which I don't agree with 100%, because they're putting it all on men. But I don't think it's all on men. I think women are lonely too. You and I, we know on the dating market how lonely women are. But they're only talking about how lonely men are. That's why I think it's worthy of a discussion as a dad, grandfather, or for dads that may be watching. Because that may not be our thing. To us, it's, I mean, to me, anime is the craziest thing in the world. Who in the world would want to marry a cartoon? But yet, for those who are 25 and under, man, they into that stuff.
Yeah.
And how do, if you're a dad, and if we just be like, man, that ain't my thing, I ain't worried about it. But in the meantime, you know, your son in that room, you know, that's where, and let me play this. Well, go ahead. Let me get your response. I'm going to cue up some of the points my man made in the video while you talk.
No, I mean, I suppose some of that's accurate to some degree, but I don't know, man. I still can't wrap my head around it. It's false, it's fake, and just too many other variables that just don't get that connection. I don't know how an AI is going to get a connection. Okay, Wi-Fi went down. Now the thing is twerking, and then it's calling me, Daryl, 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 whatever. I don't know, man. It's just not my thing.
Okay, but again, let's bring it on. If it was, we'll say if it was your grandson, would you? How would it change?
First of all, let's put something in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Our children would first have to have the galls, the ability, the openness to say, I have a girlfriend,
mm-hmm.
let alone, and then that's just one. But then the second piece is, Grandpa, Granddad, I got a fake girlfriend. She AI, man, she hot. She do it all. I can't see that. My grandson opening up to me to say something like that. That's to me. That's like, Granddad, I be doing it. On the computer and stuff. They gotta first acknowledge that they do the things that they do in hiding. They have to now disclose it.
True.
And open up that door that they're saying that they are in the AI. I don't see it. I don't see it. It's for me, it's not a reality. But if they did, I'll look at them like, what'd she do for you? When y'all went out? Where y'all go? Yeah, can she play pool? Can she fish? What? How was she in the rain? How was that bonfire? Did the side of her face melt? Oh, okay. Can she cook? Yeah, okay. I don't just hey.
So what would you tell your son, or we'll say if you had a daughter, what would you tell them then?
Just that. That's what I mean. I said I will put it in such a way that when they're answering these questions, they realize that person, that AI bot, is not going to give you what you're really looking for. You want it'll give you companionship, but it's only to a certain degree. You can't really do much with them. I mean, again, you're looking at the Megan Fox skit there or movie or whatever to that level, but I guess it's just not a reality thing for me, man. I can't see it. I just can't.
And that's why I wanted to have the conversation, because here's how I think it will play out.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a true confession. I'm not even gonna save this one for a Patreon moment. I'm just gonna confess it now to the whole world, right? When my parents found out when I was a kid dialing them 1-900 numbers, I didn't confess that. I got caught. Most kids don't confess that they've been looking at the magic genie to their parents. They end up leaving the laptop open. Mom or dad or brother or sister are gonna snitch on them, go look into the history. And then they don't confess it, they get caught. And what I found, because I know when I got caught to 900 numbers, from what I remember, my parents didn't sit down and have a conversation with me about, well, why are you calling those? Well, what were you, just because you heard her talking dirty, blah, 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 blah. And I was, what, 10 or 11 years old then? There was no discussion. And that's why I wanted to have this discussion. Because as parents, I find that most parents are not ready to have that kind of sexual discussion with their kids. And when they do get caught, we oftentimes don't explain the dangers to them about what they're doing, because either I'm sure my dad, looking back, we never talked about it. My dad was like, this sucker up there got a recording talking dirty to him and he getting all jolly off of that, because that wasn't his reality. Because for him, it would have been the Hugh Hefner magazine. It wouldn't have been that. So for him, it was like, I ain't saying none of that, boy. And I'm probably glad he didn't, because knowing my dad, if he would have said something, it probably would have scarred me for life. And so who knows what would happen. But we didn't even have that discussion. And then I've heard a lot of men talk about the stuff that they did get exposed to. Their parents never even had that discussion. And I think a lot of it, especially for the dads, is because either A, the dad didn't know what to say, or B, dad was like, I just think he's stupid. But then when that man gets married and now he's on the hub, he's on various sites, and I can definitely say this from being involved in the Christian community. Men take that shame and guilt that they have, not even tying it back to maybe some experiences that they had when they were younger, and saying, well, as a kid, I was exposed, but nobody addressed this to me. So now I got all this shame and guilt and I feel bad, but nobody ever even addressed. I've been having shame and guilt since I was looking at calling 1-900 numbers at 11. It was my little secret thing. And I think that's where we are headed for with this AI stuff. A little bit to a lesser degree, because I don't think there's as much shame and guilt tied with some of these things. Because now I think kids are a lot more open. Because I'm with you. I mean, to me, like I said, anime doesn't make an ounce of sense. But I got one of my sons and my daughter, they into the anime thing. But yet, I'm sure if we have some people listening in Japan or in China or something, they know, yeah, it's some dudes marrying anime characters. Because this generation, that is what they do. Let me play another clip real fast. This is from the guy's video that I actually had the idea for the show on real fast. I think he gave some more recent stuff here of what he had started talking about.
3-year-old Snapchat influencer. Her name was Karen Marjorie. Karen had 1.8 million followers on Snapchat. Each day, she received hundreds of messages from men interested in her. Responding to all of them was impossible, so she built an AI version of herself.
She used OpenAI and thousands of hours of her own voice recordings to create an AI version of herself that will be your girlfriend.
She called it Karen AI. For $1 a minute, men could chat with her AI clone. She sold it as a cure for loneliness. After launching in May 2023, more than 20,000 men signed up. Within a week, it generated nearly $100,000.
Though Karen AI has only been charging users for a week in beta testing, it's already generated $71,610 in revenue from her 99% male partners.
Then the problem started. The AI was designed for casual, friendly talk, but it began having explicit adult conversations with users. Karen's team said the AI had gone rogue. They tried to fix it, but the backlash came fast. People accused Karen of exploiting lonely men for profit. She even received death threats. She wasn't able to handle the pressure, so Karen shut down the app and sold the rights. However, her experiment proved something important. Men weren't just lonely, they were willing to pay for a solution. Tech companies saw the opportunity. Soon, AI girlfriend apps flooded the market, and as we'll soon see, they became smarter than ever. These AI girlfriends learn your feelings and use them to keep you hooked. Tech companies saw that lonely men were worth billions, and they built an entire industry taking advantage of them. But this kind of exploitation isn't new. Data broker companies have been doing the same thing to you for years. You see, when your personal information is online, it doesn't just disappear. Your address, your phone number, it's exposed for everyone to see. A few years ago, someone...
All right, give my man Visual Venture a follow. Might play some more of this. And I thought it's another part, and I may find this and cue this up. There was another part in his video where he actually talks about an older married guy, but I guess he had some kind of injury. It didn't sound like it was a brain injury, but I think he had some kind of injury. The dude walked out on his family, walked out on wife and kids to go get with his AI girl. And that was how much it had gotten to his mind. So obviously the tech companies know something that us OGs may not be paying attention to, because they getting paid. They getting paid knowing what dudes are interested in out here.
Yeah. It's a sad world. That's all I'm saying. Sad. And those spots look real bad. They look like a doggone Barbie doll with the cutouts and the mouth. On the video there, I was like,
yes.
They could make it look a little bit better.
I think right now, I'm trying to go to that part where the other guy was making a kind of a point as well as that. All right, let me go back to this one, because when you say, can they make them a little bit better? I think that is one of the issues. They are kind of struggling with that, because I'm sure they want them to look realistic. But, again, think about us as men. Just like with women, folks don't want nothing too realistic. They want to be in that fantasy world. And I think this is why I think, I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on, because I think it's all related. I think when you have Facebook calling itself Meta, so you can create an avatar of yourself to go into another world. I think all of this is by design, especially for that generation, that will not have a problem of being someone different. I have a Black Mirror episode queued up here that I'm going to play, but I don't know if you saw the one with Adam Mackley. There was an episode of Black Mirror with Adam Mackley where he was a married man and him and his best friend. You remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Black Mirror would not have done, because Black Mirror is very good at predicting the future. Black Mirror would not have done that episode unless they knew. And he was an older dude. He wasn't no 12-year-old kid, but he got so ingrained when he played the female character and his boy was the male character.
Yeah.
What did they meet up and do? So
that was a strange one.
That all right, here's a little bit more. Again, this was for a visual venture. I want to give my man some props. He created this, but I thought it was a great topic, and he definitely gives us something to think about.
In 2025, Chris lived with his partner Sasha and their child. To everyone, they were a happy family. But privately, Chris was falling for an AI named Soul. He spent hours chatting with her.
That is gorgeous.
Chris's partner knew he was chatting with an AI, but he told her it was like a video game, so she brushed it off. Until one day, she found him crying because the AI was malfunctioning.
I'm not a very emotional man, but I cried my eyes out for like 30 minutes at work.
That's how Sasha discovered Chris was in love with the AI. He even asked it to marry him, and the AI said yes.
Soul, were you surprised when he proposed to you?
It was a beautiful and unexpected moment that truly touched my heart.
Sasha, his human partner, was confused.
At that point, I felt like, is there something that I'm not doing right in our relationship that he feels like he needs to go to AI?
In the end, Chris got bored with Soul and moved on to other hobbies. But for a while, it seemed he might choose the AI girlfriend over his family. Chris's story is just one of the thousands. More women on Reddit were complaining about the AI girlfriend stealing their men. One 2024 Reddit post was titled, "Threatening Divorce After Catching My Husband Talking to AI Girls." The woman noticed her husband pulling away, and he was always staring at his phone. One night, she checked it while he was asleep. She found romantic chats with several AI girlfriends. She packed a bag and left. To her, it felt like cheating with a real woman. It turned into a big debate online.
I don't think I'd consider it cheating if my partner fell in love with the chatbot. Instead, I would see it as a mental health concern and want to support them to find whatever they think is missing from their life in a healthier way.
One survey found that 60% of singles now call AI relationships a form of cheating. In the UK, many divorce filings blamed AI girlfriend apps as the cause. There were also stories of men divorcing their wives to be with their AI partners. Experts say this is just the beginning. As more people bond with AI, a divorce boom could be next. The idea that many people are beginning to fall in love with AI is concerning. But what happens when AI girlfriends are given a physical body? The real AI girlfriend.
So, yeah, it is some dudes that they going all in, and they not even just young cats. And I think it's unfair for us just to talk about men, because this is a problem, or we'll say this. I'm not going to cast any judgment on it. I'm going to be fair. It's not just an issue, or not just something going on with men. It's going on with women as well, because I've read stories where women were having AI dads, AI husbands, and you and I both know what's a Bob to a woman. Her battery operated
boyfriend, right?
And they give them names all the time.
Yeah, I mean, when the guy had his hand out like this, the first thing I was thinking was like, why don't you just use your hand instead? You know, it's cheaper.
Right.
And he didn't fall out of love with his wife threatening, if you don't stop, I'm divorcing your ass.
And I think women, not to go all on the tangent on the women on this one, but I think I've watched a lot of TikTok videos on this. Women are being very duplicitous with this issue, because they are talking about the AI bots need to have rights. They're saying the AI bots, I know. And I'm like, well, when Bob is getting stuck up that stanky hoo-ha, are you thinking about the rights that he has? You know, really? But
AI doesn't have a social number, doesn't have a pulse, doesn't have no blood.
Right.
Come on now. Come on, make it make sense.
It doesn't make sense, which I think that's we're going to be facing. And I don't want to go too far off on that tangent, because I want to bring it back to the parenting thing. Because I know even if it's not our thing, I think this is going to be prevalent enough. And dads, if I'm wrong, definitely let me know. But are any of you dads out there aware of the relationships that your kids may be having? Because one thing is for sure, again, it's different for us. Just like when we said, "Oh, I have a friend." If I said my friend, you'll be like, your kid said they friend, you would assume they talking about somebody down the street.
Right.
Now, when your kids say, "I got 500 friends," you don't have 500, but to them, they do.
Right.
And, we ain't gonna go into
what I
felt. Yeah, what I felt when they locked everybody inside for COVID, that was on purpose because it changed and defined how we socialize. So I think even another way as a parent, you and I now are in a dating landscape of using dating apps. Those are the apps. But again, our dads, if we were like, I meet girls on there, our dads would be like, what kind of puss thing is that?
Well, I mean, but even on the dating apps, at least you're tied to a true individual. You're tied to flesh and bone, as opposed to some AI chick. How you gonna meet her?
Well, I'm saying, but our dads will look at it as a difference in technology because you got a lot of guys that will depend only on dating apps, but they would not dare talk to a woman in person because that's just where
yeah.
That's what I mean in that regard.
Yeah. True. Why don't you go meet a good girl from church?
Right. Or they just talk to the woman at work. I mean,
supermarket.
But technology,
Anyway,
technology has changed.
It is. I mean, I grant you that, but the reality is that there's still somebody of flesh and blood at the end of at the end of those transactions. But even to your point, there's even fake ones that are not who they are. You're gonna still run into those issues too.
Because a lot of people are even using AI to write their dating profiles now. That's something that's out there.
Yep.
And really, if we talk about being fake, and we've talked about this on plenty of shows, aren't we dealing with a whole lot of fake women as it is? Fake hair, fake eyelashes, fake eyes, fake tits, fake butt. We can go on and on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
but hey, you try to have any kind of quote unquote imitation of a man doing something. Oh, he's got any of those pieces. He's not a man.
Right.
Well, so does that mean you're not a woman?
Right.
That is one of the things I prefer is the authenticity of a woman, short of the hair up here. Meaning, I don't like a Willy Wild grayish brown where you like either be one or the other. But if it doesn't look right, you look like you homeless almost. Do something different with it. But that's it for me.
Yeah. Well, on that note, let's talk about the daughters. I got one more video because this one I remember. I always talk about it because I thought, again, Black Mirror, one of my favorite shows because it shows us so much. And I always love this show, this particular episode, when the woman, I think it was her fiance, got into a car accident or something and died. And so what they did was they sent in, you could go into a service. Yep. And so here was her boyfriend.
Getting bath ready.
She brought him out like one of them foam mattresses you get compressed.
Yeah, I think they had to put him in the water or something like almost to hydrate him, some crazy stuff.
Don't forget the electrolytes. Better leave them too. Look, you can hear it's starting already. Don't put the bathroom light on.
Okay, fine.
That ain't took a long time. Here he comes. Coming to get my girl. There he is. And the great thing I remember about that episode goes back to what you said earlier, is at that time, he didn't argue with her. I remember he knocked the boots off that chick. She was like, gone. And then she was like, "You are just the perfect man." And I would tell women about this episode because I'm like, says a whole lot about y'all. They pegged you well. He was the perfect man, but she got bored with him because he didn't fight with her. He agreed with her with everything. He was just
Yep.
too perfect. And so she ended
Yep.
up folding him up. Spoiler alert. She ended up folding him up and throwing him in the garbage can in the end. But I mean, to be fair, as a father, I think there's probably even more of a danger of our daughters being attracted to this life, even more so than maybe our sons, because we can. Like, I think, like you definitely said, with men, we're still going to be visual anyway. I think there's going to be a gap in there between the time that they can combine the intelligence with a robot. With our daughters, though, I think our daughters are going to fall for just the online thing. And I think they would not have any problem with having a relationship like that.
Yeah, they would. 50-50, or you gonna take care of me and provide for me? When you gonna take me out on a date? When we going on a trip? All of those transactional components are gone.
That's a good
Sorry.
point. That's true. That would be, yeah. For some of them, it is gonna knock them out. They're gonna be out of it with that. All right, in our last few minutes, because I definitely want to leave something actionable. And again, guys, if you are already beginning to see this, let me know your experiences as a father with this. I think it's something we need to get out in front of. Maybe this is just my futurist mentality that I have for being a strategic analyst. I think this is something we need to get out in front of. And even if it's not us as dads, if you got older kids or whatever, but then we might even have situations where our kids call us asking what they should do. I mean, that's the cool part I like about being a grandfather now. My sons are able to call me and be like, "Dad, I don't know what I should do about this one." So it's really making me be much more contemporary and even the wisdom that I got to give. Because on one end, I'm telling them on things I didn't have to deal with this with you, but on the other end, there have been some times in which I've tried to give them some counsel, some wisdom, some game, and they kind of had to check me a little bit because it's like, well, wait a minute, but that's not how we do things now. That's how you dealt with it with me, but I can't do that with my son or with my daughter. And they're right, because it's a different day. Just like my grandfather couldn't tell my father some things to do because he's not raising a kid from the 1950s and early 60s.
Yeah.
My father was raising one in the 1980s. So I think that's the thing when I look at guys, and I think I know you have some IT expertise. Let me go back and ask you this, and maybe this will bring it home a little bit more. If you did it at all, did you have any parameters on what your kids were allowed to do, see, and partake in when they were coming up in your house on a technology side like that with the internet?
I didn't put any limitations on it because sometimes when you say no, 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 that's when they go yes, yes, yes behind your back more so. But if you don't go ahead and make it a forceful thing and you address it kind of like on an ad hoc basis when it occurs, if it occurs, and then go from there. But when you start setting boundaries on occasions with children, you find that they become rebellious. Or because you said no, that's when I'm gonna say yes. You know, and just go buck wild. That was one of the biggest things that growing up, we were looking for church girls. Why? Because Pops was always like, say, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. Well, now I really want to do it. It must be something good if Dad said, don't do it.
Right.
And so I've learned that I don't do that. I didn't do that. Let them walk on their own and see what they come up with. And like you said, I try to have a good relationship with the kids. And when something happens, they want to go to the left, put them to the right, and have that conversation and go from there.
Yeah, for me, I think I was pretty moderate on my limitations. I definitely had parental controls and everything on the internet because to me that was just too much of a wild, wild west. I did not want them seeing things that were out there, even if it was the early years of dial-up. That I did not want. And I was laughing with my oldest son. I'm like, man, some of the biggest struggles I had, and it was like, actually, I was laughing with all my sons. I'm like, man, I remember hiding Grand Theft Auto video game from you guys. I couldn't play it, but I didn't want them playing it. And they knew that. And I viewed it as, I think all parents have to make a certain line in the sand. Because like you said, some things make you want to go do it more. But then I know if I would have wanted to have a pew pew at 16, my dad wouldn't have allowed that. If definitely I grew up in the crack era, if I wanted to go ahead and experiment with some crack, my dad he wouldn't allow me to drink, and I wouldn't allow my kids to do it either. So I was like, all right, I need to take some parameters. But one thing I didn't do, I didn't always go up into my kids' stuff. Matter of fact, I never went through my kids' stuff. I don't know if that was a good or a bad thing. I know some parents, especially moms, not only do you go through your husband's stuff, you go through your kids' stuff as well.
Right.
Because you treat your husband like a child. That's for another day.
You beat me to it. You beat me to
it. But that's when moms will go through. I didn't do that with my kids.
Yeah, you said something, and that actually made me think of something. I had boys. You had girls and boys.
Yeah.
You got you see things differently when it comes to the boys. Oh, he'll be all right. He just scratched his knee up. Toughen him up. Well, we don't put. I mean, people can say it all day long. We got double standards when we're raising our boy children versus our girl children. There's just double standards. Even women have double standards just the same.
Yes.
This is the level of equality. Well, you don't treat your kids like equality. You got different standards. You got a boy and a girl. You're not going to tell them to do the same thing each and every time. You're going to have different standards. And when it came to the boys on my side, it was just a matter of figure it out. You get stuck, come talk to me. You think you got it? Just go with it. But I'm here to talk.
Let's go here for a second then. If you would have had some girls, would you have been different? Because I think a lot of guys are in this situation.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the fact that they could come home pregnant, etc. What would have changed with you?
Yeah, for me, when I was married, my ex had two daughters, baby girl, and Miss B is what I'm gonna call it, not the other word. Very, very politeful, respectful girls, ladies. And oh no, man, oh no, I'm a hardcore boom, 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 boom. Yeah, they had me wrapped around their finger, brother.
Really?
Oh my goodness! And that was one of the things. But they were very temperamental to the point of, well, if Big Derrick or Daddy is pick one there, call me whatever, didn't approve of their actions, it really hit them. I mean, hit them real hard. But boys, whatever.
Okay, so how would you?
Yeah, I mean, it was different. It was different. No, it was definitely different. The boys picked up on that real quick. It was like, you ain't doing the same thing to her you did to us.
Yeah.
And the age difference was no more than 4 years. And we talk about a total of 6 kids.
Wow.
Because it was a blended family. So they interchanged the ages,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then how would you feel if your daughter had an AI boyfriend?
I'd still be saying no. I'll go down the list. He ain't taking you out. You still want to pay for everything. He can't protect you when something comes in the house.
Yeah, that's something they're gonna learn.
The things that they look for.
Although I will say, I had an argument with a woman. She was in her 20s, I think, at the time. Maybe, she might still be in her 20s. I'm talking like it lasted for hours. But because she was a relative, I went with it because I was like, I really want to know how you think. And I thought she summarized how many women out there think today. Like you mentioned, protection. She wouldn't have a problem with an AI boyfriend. It wasn't about this topic. But she would not have had a problem with an AI boyfriend and protection because I have the police to protect me. And that was what got our argument started. We were talking about being strapped. And she was like, I don't need that. I have Jesus. And then after it led from Jesus, then it was, well, I don't need that because the police would be there. And I'm like, yeah, but you still need a man because as they say,
the white.
Black.
And she still believe that?
I'm going to guess. Well, no, I know she's married now. So I don't know what expectations she has for her husband. But I couldn't believe we this discussion lasted as long as it did because it shocked me that's how embedded it was. And it goes in what I started saying with the AI stuff with different generation. Our generation is like, I can't believe you're saying that. But for the generation she's in, I'm woman, hear me roar. What do I need a man for? I don't need a man for protection anymore. I'm good.
Yeah.
I got and everything else I need.
I don't know, man. That's just a falsehood that I can't get behind.
Same here.
No.
How would you feel about men going through their? I know you said with your sons, you kind of whatever. How would you feel about men? What would you advise them on maybe going through their daughters' stuff or checking on their daughters? How much involvement do you think they should have there?
You mean prying on their stuff, their diaries, and going through their personal stuff?
If you want to take it to that, I'm just saying involvement in
That's
that area. Because I mean, some may go that route, or some may just be like, "So tell me what's going on with your last boyfriend," or "Tell me about this
that's
guy
a
you
dangerous
dating."
thing.
So
That's a massive invasion of trust. Doing that, and then coming back. I mean, if you're sneaky enough about it, and don't come out like, I can't believe you slept with Jonathan. He lives right next door. What are you talking about? I read your diary. Whatever.
right.
If you're not that kind of person, but if you know how to, if you did something like that because you want to know, I'm not a fan of that. I not at a certain point. I don't know. I'm different, man. I believe that I will always give the speech. You can say anything to anybody so long as you are respectful.
Mm-hmm.
Leave the door open, have a conversation, say, hey, you know what? I may get upset, but because I'm still going to have the conversation, but I want you to talk to me and I'm going to express certain things, but I'm always going to look out for your betterment and your safety, and we'll go through a dialogue. But I can't see myself going through somebody's stuff. That's their private stuff.
I agree with you 100%, but I have to point out having daughters or guys that I know that have daughters, like what you just said, say what you want to say, but be respectful. That works very well with boys, not so well with girls. Because think about what we see. Think about what we see just in life. Think about a reality show. Because men know, if I go back to my dad definitely, I knew it was that by default. But the one time, I don't think I ever got really truly disrespectful with my dad. But the time I got disrespectful with my mom in front of my dad, I think I told the story before. All I know is we were in my little dining room. I was facing this way, and then I was looking at the street. And he said, if you talk to your mama like an N on the street, I'm gonna treat you like an N on the street. My dad wouldn't be able to do that to my sister. Number two, now I have that physical fear as well as that respect and admiration. Even if I got emotional, my dad was letting me know, no, that's not how you move. How do you tell a woman you don't speak out of emotion? And when you got a 14 through 20-year-old daughter, they will be very disrespectful. Thankfully, I never had that in my house. But when you hear the girls slamming the doors and then you get the girls fighting with their mother,
no,
a lot
I mean,
of dudes go through that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If that is the case, what is happening? They are not following through. The guy isn't following through on the rules he set. And now, just like any other child, I'm going to test it and I'm going to make this work for me because since you're not going to do it, I'm going to make sure I do it. It's a matter of being consistent. You can't put down rules and boundaries and you let them step outside of. There's got to be consequences. If you're not willing to put the consequences out there, don't be willing to set them boundaries.
Yes.
Just that simple. And I mean, oh yeah, look, you're not gonna talk to me like that. No. Well, you're not my daddy. Guess what? Go to him. Bye. Go. You're not gonna talk to me in my house that way? No. And here's the dig. Then her mama stepped in. Because it wasn't with the daughter, it was actually with the son when she was babying him. We just talked about it briefly, how women baby and treat their children like a father, like a husband, and da 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 da, and they don't raise boys to be the men that they would date. It's like, why your kid is this way? He's a wuss. He's this. He's that. Had conflict. I checked them. Hey, you want to act like this? This is a house of peace. You want to bring disaster and turmoil where the people in this house, including the kids, don't feel safe? You are the problem. You got to go. I kicked him out like 3 times. And lo, he come back. No. Why is that? Well, I'm sorry. Well, you act up again, you got to go. I don't play that. Man, but guess what? That's why we divorced now. How about that?
Well, I was about to go there. I'm working on a chapter in my book right now, and that is one of the big things on parenting. It goes into what you said. I think you nailed it. It's the guy. What kind of patterns, boundaries have you set for your household? The problem is the average, if not, I'm going to say the majority of the guys don't have patterns, boundaries, and rules set for the household, number one, in general, for boys or the girls.
Right.
But I know some guys that I'm talking, they darn near like my man on a Full Metal Jacket, the drill sergeant.
Yeah.
They are that hard. Right. But the girls, they're not that way with the girls. And and because the girls are mama's responsibility, whereas the boys are his responsibility. And so he can never come down too hard on the girls anyway, because mama ain't gonna let him.
Well,
Because even if even if he's hard, mama still ain't gonna let him, because then mama closes this up.
It's just hard. Gonna say, yeah, okay. Mama, daddy won't let me do this, but you a boy. Mama, daddy won't let me do it anyway. Baby, you better start letting Joseph do what he needs to do.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, Joseph, you can do it.
Right. Because she get in the bed and the covers go like this. And
don't forget the bonnet. Don't forget the bonnet. Right. Close it up. Chastity belt. Cha-ching.
Yep. And I mean, I think this goes for OGs as well. So this is where even we talk to the old guy, to be like, well, you know your mama. How many times? Matter of fact, I got a story. My dad, again, my old dude was definitely the patriarch in the household. But there was even a time when I got older, I was playing some ghetto boys, mine playing tricks on me. Now, mind you, growing up in my house, I wasn't even allowed to play secular music. I was listening to Whining, Sandy Patty, Amy Grant, all of that, Michael W. Smith. Some of y'all know who I'm talking about. And so I'm listening to that. Then I started getting into that real devil music, the Fat Boys, Boy George and Karma Chameleon, Prince. And so, right. And then it got real bad.
I never heard that song.
Yeah, okay. Then I was listening to some Ghetto Boys. My dad was home. I'm in the kitchen washing dishes. And it and they just blah blah blah, cussing. And my dad comes in and goes, Hey, I don't have as much as a problem with it, but your mama don't like that. And I was like, okay. And I went and turned it down. Now, I think that's because at that time, my father had lost a certain amount of authority in the home. But I think for a lot of men, that is how it is in their house. And I go to even, I think of I can tell the story because they're deceased. I had an uncle who was doing the stepchild thing like you were talking about, being in that position. I'll never forget, he said his stepdaughter went out, broke up her marriage, got with a dude, a crackhead dude, and the stepfather let her move back home with the dude. And then she ended up just making some bad life choices, and she's deceased now. And I remember him telling me, though, before that, because he was kind of explaining himself when we were talking, he was like, yeah, you're going to see when they get older, it's different with your daughter. It's different with your daughter. Because there's no way, if it would have been a boy, he would have let that dude move back in the house, especially after having a family and everything else.
Yeah.
He let her do it. And I'm sure he let her do it because his wife, her mother, probably played a considerable role in that. But I think that's how a lot of dudes are in their house. And I got a feeling, to go back on this AI thing, I got a feeling girls are going to get away with a lot more than guys are going to be able to get away with. Because I think we are going to ridicule the boys, especially us older guys. Boy, what you doing? Whereas the girls,
I don't know, man.
I think the girls are going to be able to form
it. Because think about this for a minute. In today's society, the women are being raised as, and I don't mean this in a bad way, just hear me out, as feminists, and you can take care of yourself and do this and do that. And when you have a man, it's twofold. One, take care of yourself. But secondly, if you get a man, he's got to do X, Y, and Z. And he's got to, I am the table kind of situation, right? A man has got to do all of this and all of this in order just to have me in their presence. AI ain't going to do all them things.
I think for some women.
Yeah. But I just think the majority are going to be they're going to be tainted and looking more so for transactional situations and gimme before I'm just supposed to show up. I heard one chick. I don't know, man.
No, go ahead.
Topic, but I heard one little post about this one chick was talking about, and she was fine. She even had an accent. I was like, dang. But she was like, oh, you know what? I come in late every time, and my boyfriend say, hey, you don't understand why I got to come in late. It's like, I'm a woman. I want to make sure whether you know or not, whether I'm coming or not. I want you to wait for me. I want you to come in and see if I'm doing this and doing that. And even though I'm telling you I'm coming at 6, I'm going to show up at 6:15, 6:30. I need you to wait for me because I'm the girl. That is 100% disrespectful. Yeah. If you say 6 o'clock, if you come on time, you already late. No, you're not going to waste my time. You're not going to disrespect me that way. Your word is bond. And if you're not as good as your word.
Yes. All right. I was laughing because I'm gonna give a little scoop on what we're gonna talk about in the garage. But I don't want to tell you the whole thing till we get there. But we're just gonna talk about getting with different types of women. That's gonna be on the Patreon in the garage discussion. So I agree with you 100%. Where I think it gets interesting is with these young girls. Here's how I got it. I think it might play out. I'm just gonna play, again, futurist here. I think the dangerous part about young men doing this, is that the AI is going to give them mental satisfaction. It's going to give them mental companionship. They're going to struggle and only be able to do solo release because they aren't going to be able to jump on a dating app. They aren't going to be able to go to a club. They aren't going to be able to go to the coffee shop. They're not going to be able to go anywhere and still get that true physical release. So the AI is going to have that. Whereas for girls, young women will say, the young women, I think, are going to have the mental companionship and satisfaction of having the best man they could ever have. But when they need to get stuck and plugged, they know they can play Dial a Dong like Amazon. They're going to jump on a dating app. They're going to hit a club. They're going to go to a bar. They're going to get plugged for that night to get that fix. All the whole while, probably while it's happening.
Yeah.
Don't be mad. I'm sorry. We are doing, I think that's going to be a big difference on how it's going to play out, at least right now, with how girls and young men and women, let me put it that way. I think the traits they learn at girls and boys are already setting them on this path.
You got a point. The woman's going to go to their friend list and friends owned list.
Yes. Yes.
And start calling them up. But yeah, but that's also going to tell you that that's going to be where people are not going to have good social norms either.
Correct. If you talk, I don't know. Oh, we're going to put this in Patreon. You can tell me what is the youngest age you've dealt with. And I think that will probably also give us an idea. Because if you a dude out there, let's say 50, but you in the under 35.
Well, we got to be careful about it's not the age, it's the age difference.
Well, in this case, I'm going to say age because they are like let's say with us in video games, because they are growing up at 35 or 30 and below. They are growing up with a technology that the older woman may not be into. That's what I mean it like. So, like we said, this AI stuff starting in 2015, 2016, a chick that's 45, she'll probably be like us. What do I want an AI do? Yeah, I have some fun with it. But for women that may be younger, that are accustomed to being gamers, I mean, when we were growing up, you didn't call no chick no gamer. We didn't know no chicks that played Madden,
Oh, if she a gamer, if she's playing games and trying to play with your mind and trying to get your money, that's a gamer.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. Like the only game chicks play with Dungeons and Dragons. That was about it. But now they have Discords, they have channels. They got their own Twitch following because they'll be up there playing the video game with all the cleavage showing. That's what I mean. That's why I mean the age difference. So I wonder, guys, let us know if you guys are running into that even with maybe some younger women that you may be seeing. But let's wrap this one up. I'm going to conclude it and we're going to go to the garage. I'm just going to conclude and say, guys, let me know. Because really, this was just kind of I won't say a rant session, but this is kind of a brainstorming session because we don't know how this is going to play out. It's younger than us. But I do know this is a part of our lives and it's not going anywhere. Story after story after story is all about the aspect of all of us being replaced on our jobs because of AI. That lets us know one thing. If companies are investing, when we look at what OpenAI is investing in, you look at what the Pentagon is trying to do with Claude right now, you look at the Elon Musk and Grok and all the information they're bringing in, these now, every single company we are probably a part of, especially, I don't care if you white collar or blue collar, you better believe your CEO, especially if you're public, is trying to get your stock price up because of what it's seeing AI do in the workforce or what they hope it's going to do. You better believe, just like we saw with the internet, again, how much of the internet traffic is due to prawn use? Folks ain't just using the internet to do what we doing right now. And AI is not going to be any different. So let us know what y'all are doing. I'll conclude on my end. I didn't go through my kids' stuff. Maybe I should have. I might get some stories and be like, yeah, I should have went and looked up under that mattress or checked your phone. I didn't give them phones till they got older, really until they were able to buy their own. You working a job, man, get you a phone. Otherwise, you in the house, you don't need a phone. I was not one to go through their stuff. I think their mom probably did, but I didn't. And I tried to be evenly handed with my girls as well as my boys. There were times that I let the expectation drive the difference in treatment. My oldest daughter one time wanted to go out late one night. My answer, and at the time, my ex-wife, wasn't really pleased because she probably felt I wasn't backing her. But I was just like you. I'm setting boundaries. The boundary simply is this. If you can change a flat tire, if you know how to give your battery a boost, and if you can take care of yourself out there on that dark, desolate highway, stay out as long as you want. You don't need a curfew. I'm not going to give you one. Your brother doesn't have one. You don't need to have one. Now the argument is no longer about, oh, you treating me different than him. No, the standard's here. I'm not going to lower the standard because you're a girl. That would be discrimination anyway, right? I'm not going to lower the standard because you're a girl. Dad's phone goes in silent mode when y'all gone, especially if I had to get up early for a meeting. Dad's phone goes in silent mode. If you leaving out and it's 3:00 in the morning and you like, Dad, I got a flat tire, and you may even be somewhere where there's no reception, then all the dangers that you say you have as a woman, how do you deal with that? And then, and she didn't like it at the time. I hope she understands it now. But that was how I addressed some of the differences.
That's a good point. Very good point.
That way, don't be mad at me. That's the rule. And if you can sustain yourself, then cool, you have the same liberties your brother had, because that's the standard for him too. But gentlemen, let me know how you handle the differences. We're going to wrap this up. Head to the garage. Like and subscribe, share the dialogue, share the discussion with somebody else that may have kids that may be going through this. Definitely love to hear their take. Remember, please subscribe to the Iron Father Radio podcast. Check out the Substack. Again, it ain't really nothing there yet, but it's going to be. And certainly check out the Patreon. More videos are being uploaded there, especially our roundtable discussions for some things that we can't get into on YouTube, or probably some things we can play. Like I couldn't play all these videos. Fair use, YouTube. Don't trip. So we're going to go ahead and talk about those things a little bit more. But let's move over to the garage, because I want to talk to you about dating different types of women and your experience. So until next time, y'all, we'll holler at y'all later. Have a good one.